My friend told me how there are 5 land banking scam. And guess what? The 5 things she said are 5 things I really want us to dive into. So, have you ever bought a land bank? Can you tell us, even if it's from me, what happened? Real estate is a big deal. And land banking is one strategy that has helped millions of people build generational wealth. So I want to really talk about the 5 things she told me that were the issues. And I also now want to explain why I think it was not an issue. And some of those challenges I have also faced. The first challenge is co-investment in land banking. Because I started my journey from land banking, if you are just meeting me for the first time, broke, rejected, jobless, and I didn't just become like this today. I actually started my journey from putting people together to co-invest. But I tell you the truth, the reason why I actually co-invested was not for profit. It was for me to see the possibilities in real estate, land banking. And why I chose land then, because I didn't have knowledge, was because land was actually the cheapest real estate opportunity. And that is why I really am passionate about the REITs. If you go and watch my last video, if you watch this video to the end, I'll give you a free resource on my last video that I trained people on my Platinum Invest on how to invest in real estate with very little capital. But let me not go out of our discussion. The reason why I actually did that was because I wanted to start and I didn't have the funds. So I came up with the strategy of co-investment. So when I started my real estate company, I actually offered people that opportunity. But I'll tell you the truth. If I have any regrets, it's a big regret. And that's one of the things that land banking is all about. It is not a get quick rich scheme. So for us then, we bought the property somewhere, and I'll tell you the difference. The scam in land banking. One of the things that she talked about was that the profits promised her was not what she got. I want to tell you about what land banking really means. Land banking means buying for future, buying a bush to cultivate or to develop in future. What is future? What is future? So I started like that. So I was so excited about helping people. And I said, okay, if that is the way I started, what I did not do was to tell them that I didn't start a co-investment for profit. I started to know the possibilities in real estate. And so since I didn't have enough money, I actually did it to see the possibilities. And that was what happened. When we bought it, when I started to see the land appreciate, it gingered me. Let me use that word. Then I started to go and look for money to invest more in real estate. The more I looked for money, I put it in real estate. And today, I'm a global phenomenon. And in my mentorship class, most of my students that had gone ahead to start land banking co-investment, they actually are doing exactly what I did for the experience. But where I got it wrong was I thought everybody has the mindset of grace offering for delayed gratification. So I've gotten a lot of insults, backlash. I've been called names because 10 people buy a plot of land and 2 people say, I want my money. I hear that the land is now, maybe they bought it for 5 million, now 7 million. I want my money now, I want my money now. It is not MMM, it's not stock. And what we did was that the 5 of us bought again and again and again. So by the time we bought 5 more, we now all owned 1 land each. but these ones want to sell now. So I want to use that as my baseline of making you understand that when it comes to land banking, you need to know that there is the scam of land banking is different from the business of land banking. Let me start with the scam of land banking. The scam of land banking is when you are told that in 1 year, I will give you 40%, 50%, 60%. The capital appreciation of land banking is not determined by the seller. It is by the environment. The reason why some of our land banks has produced results is the spirituality of my location, because sometimes when we get there, something happens. They are not all at the same level of capital appreciation. Perfect Residence moved from 5 million to 32 million in 5 years. But some other property for 4 years didn't move in that direction. Not that that is how land banking is supposed to have 100% in 5 years. It just happened. So you cannot say it was scam when you do not understand the business of land banking. Land banking is like putting your money in the bush and waiting. Let me tell you one of the things that happened to me recently. There's a particular property I bought in Majek. You know, I'm putting names down. It's called Majek, opposite Farah Park, after Songotedo. I bought it and they couldn't take me there. They showed me the layout, but there was no road, there was no water. But I tell you, today, I can see the property, but I can't stand on the property. And I bought it 1.2. That whole area is selling for like 10 million naira. I cannot stand on the property today. That's what they call land banking. I am not about to sell. And I bought that property when I gave birth to Pamela. Pamela is 13 years old. The reason why I do not sell is because I want to be cash broke and investment rich. As long as I'm still working, I'm still active, I will not sell my property unless I want to reinvest. And there is nowhere I will put that 10 million naira today that can give me that appreciation. You know why? Development has come to Majek. When I was in Majek, to cross Majek to Farah Park, I don't look at my left and my right. But if I try it now, I'm dead. So if I take the money, I will not get that kind of return again because the development has not gotten there. So number one, land banking is not for today. It's for the future. There's a man, I was selling his property to this market is very popular. The man was selling that property for just 15 plots for 1.5 billion 3 years ago. He bought that property 20 million naira. But do you know how long? As at when I wanted to buy that property was 32 years with the man. That's what they call land bank. You see, this land banking you buy today, you want to have money tomorrow, you will be scammed because they will tell you what you want to hear and you will like to hear. And that is number one, scam. Number two, land banking cannot be sold now, because land banking is in a place that there is no scarcity. So let me give you an example. There are properties we have in Ibejuleki now. As long as a lot of people are still selling in that area and the place is not developed, there is no scarcity. So selling your land bank in less than 3 days, 4 days for money back is not possible because land is bought quickly because of scarcity. So, and I'll give you the difference. When I bought the estate I live in now, okay, let me just use today. If you buy the estate I live in, I think that estate today is about, because the person I bought it for like 20 million. That estate today, I hear, is about 280 million or 300 million for only land. Good. If you buy 300 million naira land today in that estate, in 1 year, you can sell it. What I think you will get is like a 10% or 20%. The difference between that place and a bank is that you might have more profit than leaving your money in the bank. But the good thing about that place is that there is scarcity. So developers are waiting for you to say, I want to sell, and they will buy immediately. But if you put the 300 million in Ibejuleki, that particular property in 10 years cannot give you 600 million. No. Because there is scarcity, but there is no capital appreciation. But Ibejuleki can give you 1 billion because there is capital appreciation, but there is no scarcity. Most times, a lot of people just buy land because of what they heard. They are not detailed enough to wait. And it's a major problem for all real estate developers. So the scam is when you buy land without documentation, because when you are buying land banking, documentation is the most important thing. And that is why when I started doing real estate, all my land banks have documentation. And what you should be doing is to turn your CFO to governance content and keep it for scarcity to come. That is where the money is. But a lot of people don't understand the business, they don't understand the land banking, and they look at it. These are the things that are scam. Scam is when you go into something you have no knowledge about, then you are scammed because you are unknowledgeable and you don't understand what it takes to have land banking. Recently, somebody called me and said, me, I've not even sold my own land. I've had lands for years. I have lands I bought 20 years ago. I'll give you another story, and this can be proved. I'm sure it's close to 7 years ago. A cooperative, I don't want to mention their name, but it's an oil servicing cooperative, bought a land. The land, the day we went there, we went on a canoe. Up to today, it's still water. But capital appreciation is so high, but there is no scarcity. Why? They bought the documents. They did not buy the land. Documentation in land banking is what is important. It's not even the location, because location might not matter, because every land bank, genuine land bank that will give you the kind of profit you think you should have, does not have, there's no attraction. It's a bush. Then the third thing you need to do, that is a scam in land bank, is the place you buy it. Somewhere like Lagos State. Lagos State has land banks, but there's a strategy in Lagos State because it's not truly a land bank for 50 years. It can be 20. But then, what you should do in a place like Lagos State is you come buy land bank and put a structure, even if it's a Paco house, and give people to stay. Because Lagos State is after development. So that when you want to sell, you will not even care about the house you are breaking down. So I'll give you an example. Like Perfect Residence now, that somebody bought for 4 million. Already, Perfect Residence is 30-something million. So in another 10 years, Perfect Residence will be like maybe 100 million. If the bungalow I put in Perfect Residence was like 4 million naira, so plus the land, that's 9 million. By the time I'm selling for 100 million, I don't care. But I've used that bungalow that I just did tash and put ordinary roof to secure it for my future. So when you see that you do a land bank, you leave it in the bush, no, you need to secure it. Because most time people say, it's a land bank, I'm not developing it. No, depends on the location, not a place like Lagos State. And that is why recently there was something we started doing. When we give you a location, we do a disclaimer. Because as long as we have given you a location, I'm done. And we write, take ownership. When you want to do land banking and you don't want to think it's a scam, these are the things you should look at. Am I ready to take ownership? Am I ready to wait for years upon years? But then forget the money there. It will just be rising. It's still better than any kind of investment you want to think of. Then am I ready to at least put something? And even if I give it to someone to go and stay, a young guy, go and stay there for free, I'm coming back in 10, 20, 30 years' time. How do you buy land? You want to sell it 3 years' time. I'm not saying that there will not be profit. It will not be as significant as you think. And that is where the scam is. You allow them lie to you. A 3 years land bank cannot be like a 15, 20 years land bank that I left. So the reason why some of us are big on land banking is ownership on assets and being broke on cash. When the land gets to a ripe stage, VGC was 6 million when it started. VGC was 95 million like 2 years ago. I'm not sure VGC is more than 100 million, 120. You see, the capital depreciation is not so much again because it's at its peak. When it gets to its peak, that is when you begin to think. So from Aja going down has not even gotten to the middle, talk less of peak. Selling now is out of not understanding what a land bank is. And that is why scam is possible, because if you don't get the truth about it, because people want to sell, they will lie to you. I'll see you in the next video. I love you.